What's up, you all? It's your girl, Leah Love. I am here for another brief video, but I do want to share that pretty much I'm at the point where 2020 has shown me that really and truly, big part of Black America does not care about Black on Black crime. They do not care about the Black people who are being murdered on a daily basis by their fellow Black people. They are in a sociopathic state of mind where they don't mind themselves committing genocide against themselves so long as they can point the finger at white people. This has clearly been a shut case at this point that it's over for the Black American community, for the vast majority of them. That's my sincere belief. I mean, the fact that they would vote in two individuals who have the worst records in regards to incarcerating Black men, and they're running up and down the street screaming about racism all 2020, but jumping for joy at voting in more white people who are clearly racist. And sorry, Kamala is not Black. You guys, really, this is it. And Black people, Black Americans, those who voted for Biden and Kamala have really sealed their own fate. From this point forward, I don't want to hear it.
What's your response to some of the people that thought you were being disrespectful by being on your phone and not being attentive to them?
Well, I was on my phone, and yes, that's true. I was following developments with a 5-year-old little girl sitting on her dad's lap who just got shot in the head by a drive-by shooting. And if some of the people here gave a good about the victimization of people in this community by crime, I take some of their invective more seriously. The greatest racial disparity in the city of Milwaukee is getting shot and killed. Hello. 80% of my homicide victims every year are African American. 80% of our aggravated assault victims are African American. 80% of our shooting victims who survived their shooting are African American. Now, they know all about the last 3 people that have been killed by the Milwaukee Police Department over the course of the last several years. There's not one of them can name one of the last 3 homicide victims we've had in this city. Now, there's room for everybody to participate in fixing this police department, and I'm not pretending we're without sin. But this community is at risk, all right. And it's not because men and women in blue risk their lives protecting it. It's at risk because we have large numbers of high-capacity, quality firearms in the hands of remorseless criminals who don't care who they shoot. Now, I'm leaving here to go to that scene. And I take it personally, okay? We're going up there, and there's a bunch of cops processing a scene of a dead kid. And they're the ones who are going to be out there patrolling and stopping suspects, and they have guns under the front seat. They're the ones that are going to take the risks of their lives to try to clean this thing up. All right? We're responsible for the things we get wrong, and we take action. We've arrested cops, we've fired cops, and so on. But the fact is that the people out here, some of them, who had the most to say, are absolutely MIA when it comes to the true threats facing this community.
Exactly. BLM has been nowhere to be found throughout 2020 when it comes to Black children being murdered by Black people.
And it gets a little tiresome, and when you start getting yelled at for reading the updates of the kid that gets shot, yeah, you take it personal, okay? Now, no offense, but I'm going up there now.
For over 39 years, I was a police officer in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. For 15 of those years, I was the sheriff of Milwaukee County. I've done everything you can do as a cop, from walking the beat to investigating murder to running the agency. I've met a lot of cops of every race, ethnicity, and background. Here's what I can tell you. Cops are not perfect. That's not a news flash, but this might be. They don't have to be perfect. They have to be excellent. And most officers reach excellence every single day, and often under very difficult circumstances. Circumstances you can't imagine and wouldn't want to if you could. Perfection is an unattainable goal. Cops are ordinary human beings, like everyone else. Lawyers, surgeons, and baseball players, they make mistakes. But no profession works harder to correct its mistakes. You can mark social progress by the improvements made by police departments over the last 50 years. Today, police are more professional, better educated, and better trained than at any time in their history. You wouldn't know it, though, if you listened to self-serving, self-righteous politicians and activists. In their version of history, the police are the villains of the story, not its heroes. Like everything else this crowd does, they've got it all backwards. The police aren't the problem. The politicians and activists are. The police didn't create the failed urban policies that have locked people into generational poverty. The police aren't responsible for fatherless homes, failing schools, and bad lifestyle choices. And they sure as hell aren't responsible for the lack of respect shown to police officers. It is this lack of respect for authority, fostered over decades by the progressive left and its fear the police narrative, that has led to the needless deaths of so many young black men. When Officer Darren Wilson told Michael Brown to get out of the middle of the street in Ferguson, Missouri, did Brown comply? No. When officers in Baltimore told Freddie Gray to stop resisting arrest, did he comply? No. When officers in New York City told Eric Garner to stop resisting arrest, did he comply? No. Here's a useful tip. If you want to avoid a bad outcome with a police officer, follow this simple rule. When a cop gives you a lawful command, obey it, even if you disagree.
And unfortunately, in 2020, Black parents, Black people, are telling young Black men not to obey. They're telling them to not comply. So they are initiating their own demise, and on purpose. This is the sign of a people who truly do not have any sense of advocacy for themselves.
Whatever problem you are experiencing is not going to be settled on the street. People with complaints need to use the process established for that purpose. Though cops don't have the final say, they do in that moment. How you react can be a matter of life or death. But the idea that a law-abiding citizen has to fear the police is a terrible and destructive lie. Let's get some perspective. In 2014, 990 people were killed in police use of force incidents. Does that sound like a lot? Did you know that according to a Johns Hopkins study, that same year medical errors killed 250,000 people, yet activists aren't marching in the streets demanding that the medical profession be reformed? Why not? Why is it that the people who protect you from the bad guys, and I've seen these bad guys close up, are the subject of distrust and anger? Why is it that groups like Black Lives Matter, I call them Black Lies Matter because it's based on the falsehood that police represent a danger to black people, are celebrated by the media and politicians? All this is taking its toll on cops, and even more tragically, on the law-abiding citizens in the neighborhoods that most need a strong police presence. The murder rates in these neighborhoods are going up because lawful aggressive policing is going down. Heather McDonald of the Manhattan Institute has explained why. She calls it the Ferguson effect, and it's real. It's also common sense. Why police officers reason: put your career at risk if 30 seconds of smartphone video taken out of context can destroy it. Here's the truth. Police aren't afraid of walking the streets or being shot by random criminals. They're afraid of being involved in an incident that would label them forever as trigger-happy racists. Are there bad cops? I know firsthand that there are. I've had to fire them. But the overwhelming majority are good, decent men and women concerned about the law-abiding citizens in the communities they serve and are willing to put their lives on the line to protect them. Those who try to convince you, either out of ignorance or out of some ideological agenda, that the police are the enemy, those are the people you should fear. Run from them, not the cops. I'm Sheriff David Clark for Prager University.
And that was some excellent information. I hope you really enjoyed this. The unfortunate truth for me is that I have finally given up hope in 2020, especially in November of 2020, of Black people waking up and realizing that they're being used by people who have ideological gains from keeping Black people in a state of ignorance about this issue. And it's literally a life or death issue because now more and more young Black men are not obeying the order to stop and are, perhaps most likely in the midst of committing a crime, and everyone around them is telling them to turn around and fight the police, which then, of course, gets them shot. It's really unfortunate, but, the psychosis that we're seeing in the Black community with all the evidence in front of them, but literally refusing to look at the actual real facts, and then calling those of us who've actually done the research and have the facts, they're calling us, coons and all manner of very nasty terms. At the end of the day, a lot of people are going to die. That's all I got to say, to be honest. And we'll be interested to see, should Biden manage to steal this election, just what Biden will have to say about it, other than clap and close doors, because we all know he doesn't like Black people, never has. Peace, have a great day, and I will see you the next time. Thank you for watching my content. I really appreciate your coming back for more. If you would please subscribe and click that notification bell, you'll definitely be able to see the upcoming videos, and you definitely don't want to miss it. Thank you.